still proved how strong of a division it was, and like how Minnesota finished like with 80 points and they still missed the playoffs. So it's I don't think the Western Conference is like god awful garbage. It's just not as strong as it was in previous years.
Yeah, when you think about it, just a little bit on the whole entire thing with the Western Conference, we're a tiny bit off topic, but I want to put a comment in there about it. Um, I feel like it was extremely top heavy. It wasn't the normal Western Conference where you see almost every team really fighting for a playoff spot. I think that the Eastern Conference was a little bit more competitive this year for whatever reason. So we'll see how it goes next year. I think it could still be the same thing. The Metro looks like it's going to be absolutely stacked for this coming year. It's going to be a real bloodbath there to see who's going to, pull out on top. But, you know, that's really all I got on this. I think we should probably move on to the last trade, I believe, at this point.
Yeah, the last trade we are going to discuss today because we're almost 90 minutes in, and we want to thank you guys who are still listening to us batter. But the last trade, this just happened a few minutes actually before we went on recording today. James Reimer to the Carolina Hurricanes and the Florida Panthers get Scott Darling and a 2026 round pick. Has Darling been bought out yet?
They have placed
Has
some
that been
unconditional waivers as well. And speaking, yeah, they did. Florida is going to be paying the buyouts. And just a little quick tidbit on the unconditional waivers thing. Dave Schlemko, who was on the Flyers roster, and Andre Shakira from the Oilers are also on unconditional waivers. And I assume all three of them will clear waivers and their contracts will be terminated.
Yeah, definitely. I saw about the whole entire thing with the buyout and everything. I mean, it's like Carolina really thought that Darling was the guy for them, and then that really, turned around and didn't really work out for them. But he's a backup. He's not a starter. He had that good year, and that was it. But
and I think hold on.
So I'll just jump in really quickly for the moment. So
yeah, go ahead.
When you look at this, right? Florida is giving up Reimer to Carolina. Carolina's biggest need is goaltending. Does Reimer answer this sort of goaltending crisis that they have? I really don't think so. When you look at some of his numbers the past few years, he really hasn't been good. He had that, breakout year with I think it was 2015, 2016.
No,
He
it
was maybe one of his better years, and then I think this season after that he played decently well. But the past 2 years he hasn't been good. He's a backup goaltender. I don't really know what Carolina is going to do to address the goaltending situation because they're not really linked to any of the big name goalies, I guess, that are free agents. I mean, I'm pretty sure that they're not looking at Bobrovsky. I don't think that they've been in contact with Leonard. So I don't know where they're going to go from here. Then you look at Florida. Florida is getting rid of Reimer. I mean, maybe you're freeing up some space and stuff like that, but they're another team that needs a goaltender. We've obviously seen the rumors about them with Bobrovsky and then Panarin going along with Bobrovsky to Florida. But I've been seeing differing takes on where the two of them are going to be going. I've seen Kami on Twitter, Mike Commodore, was saying that they're going to the Islanders. And then I've also been seeing now people speculating that they're going to Florida because of the fact that Florida just moved out Reimer. They have the open spot for a goaltender. And then obviously the connection with the coach to Panarin. So, we'll see where it goes. But I think that this was another one of those like even trades. I don't think that there's really a winner. I think that who will win this trade will be it'll be dependent upon further moves down the line, speculating on top of like the whole free agency and everything like that. What I just got into with Bobrovsky, if Florida lands Bobrovsky and Panarin, then it's kind of like in addition to this trade, they basically then kind of win this trade, I guess, if you want to put it that way. But that's really all I got on this. It's kind of like a run-of-the-mill, we'll see what happens sort of trade and see where the market kind of goes with the goalies and how these teams kind of position themselves.
Yeah, I want to add, Reimer never really lived. He was like after Toronto had traded Tuukka Rask, and they had like no goalie prospects. Reimer kind of sort of came along as this potential like savior, I guess, for the Maple Leafs in terms of their goaltending situation, and he had some good runs there. And I mean, he was pretty much one of the big reasons why they made the playoffs in 2013. He never really lived up to that potential, and I mean, he's not consistently good enough to be a full-term starter, but he's a good backup, and I think he's a good fringe guy.
Mm-hmm.
I just know that like Florida had been looking to move on from him just to free up some cap because it just wasn't working out there. And they are really high on now on Sam Montembeault, however you say his name, to be that backup because he had some iffy AHL numbers, but he had a good stretch in the NHL, so they're definitely confident in him being a backup goaltender for them.
Mm-hmm.
And Darling, I don't know, he hasn't been the same since Chicago, and I think he actually missed most of the year this year because of personal health issues, like mental health issues and whatnot.
Yeah.
I would not be shocked to either see him retire. I would not be shocked to see him retire, to be honest, because I just don't think anybody's going to give him a chance anymore.
We'll see what happens. I mean, somebody may give him a shot, but I'm not really sure. I also realize now looking at it, the Panthers also got Spencer Knight basically in waiting. So, I mean, they're going to sign a goaltender, and then it's going to be the Spencer Knight show in a couple years from now once he, gets there because they drafted him pretty high. I think there were a bunch of teams in that, like, probably teen range of picks into the 20s even that were talked about taking a shot on him, and I think that he's in a good situation now with Florida. I think that they're gonna get either Leonard or they're gonna get Bobrovsky, so they'll have like a guy for a couple years, and then it'll be, maybe a time split a little bit with Knight, and then it'll be Knight's, job at that point is what it seems like.
But that's why I think Leonard would make more sense, because if they go, Bobrovsky is a good goaltender, but if they go all in on Bobrovsky, they're going to be paying him a lot of money, especially into like his inevitable decline. And how are they going to move that contract? Like they're going to be having one of the most if they were going to have Knight take over for him, they're going to have one of the most expensive backups in the league, unless they want to buy him out or whatever in the future. But that's like very far in the future.
Maybe they position it where, I mean, it may be a little bit too soon, but say Spencer Knight, he takes a huge step or something like that, and he's ready really soon to get into the net. Maybe if this trade doesn't have a no movement or contract doesn't have a no movement clause or something, do they expose him so that the Seattle expansion franchise takes him? Who knows? But that's like way, way down the road. But who knows? Maybe that's in the plans.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see.
So, but with Carolina, they at least get someone who can back up and at least be a bridge in between him and Forsberg, who Chicago fans have affectionately called beach ball.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely like I said, Carolina's goaltending situation is going to be interesting because if they can't get Mrazek back, and they're most definitely letting McElhinney walk, and if they can't get anybody else, that goaltending tandem of Reimer and now Nedeljevic, that's going to be a bit of an interesting tandem, especially if Nedeljevic can prove to be ready for a starter spot.
Mm-hmm.
since they just signed Nedeljevic, I don't know. They just signed Nedeljevic to like a 2-year contract, so they're either going to let him sit in the AHL a little bit more, or they are confident in him being ready for an NHL spot.
Yeah,
I can totally see them letting Mrazek and McAlay walk and just going with the Reimer, the Ned and Reimer show.
Mm-hmm.
Be the best comedy on television, folks.
All right. I think we've spent enough time on here. Trevor, if you have anything to add in, feel free. And then I think since we've done a little bit of the preview of the free agents, maybe we just do like a quick thing. We pull up like a list of the guys and say where we think they're going to land or something like that. So, Trevor, if you wanna,
Yeah,
go
definitely.
in and say your little take on it or something, then we'll move on to the free agency.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna say, Florida's definitely gonna get one of the two goaltenders, Bobrovsky or Lehner. We will see who they will get. I still think Bobrovsky is going to the Panthers. That's just me personally, but who knows what's gonna happen. But yeah, that's about it for me. So let's check out the free agents. Does anyone have a list for that?
Well, this will be a little partly cut out. Whenever I leave Anchor, and I go to Google Chrome, I can't hear you guys. So if you guys talk to me, I can't hear you.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go check up on that real quick. You guys can talk amongst yourself. So natural transition in here somewhere, or
Trevor, go ahead. You could say something about the list or whatever. I mean, obviously we're cutting this, so let's see if we can pull up a list or something really quickly.
Yeah, I want to get a list really quickly, so just give me 1 second. NHL free list.
There's one that's like a bunch of fantasy players and stuff like that. I mean, here, let me see.
Free checkers. Oh, here we go. Here's a nice little list. Let me put it in.
Okay, so
all right, so okay, here
we're gonna
copy this.
So we're cutting all this out. We're cutting all this out, right?
Yeah, we're gonna cut this out, so we'll just go into like the thing about the free agents and stuff like that.
Yeah. So right, like I have my cap friendly list sorted by cap hits. The most expensive free agent out there in terms of previous cap hit is Corey Perry.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, Cap Friendly does have one. Oh, okay. So I could just use that.
Jason.
Yeah. So let's not even go off of money. Just go off of the big name guys. Like we're gonna look at Panarin. We're gonna look at Duchesne, Pavelski, Zuccarello, Anders Lee. Then once you start getting like further down this list, it gets into like a really gray area because these are like the secondary tier free agents, so we don't really know where they're going to go.
Yeah.
You have Gardner, which no one's really been speculating anything on him. We have an idea where Tyler Myers is going, and then the goaltenders. You got Mrazek, you've got Bobrovsky, Lehner, and then a bunch of other random guys that are basically towards the tail end of their career, like backups.
So let's just do like the big names because we all gonna do a recap show in the next few days.
Yeah.
All right.
So let's just go over like the big names and stuff, and then we'll
all right. From the top. Yep.
Mm-hmm. All right. Ready? All right. So to wrap up to today's episode, we are going to look at the top free agents in this year's free agent class and give our predictions on where we think they might go. So let's start off with Artemi Panarin, who I think is the big fish.
He's definitely the big fish. Class. Basically, what I've seen is that it was almost a 4-team race. There was a mystery team. People rumored that it was the Devils. There was also the rumor that it was Colorado. And then the 3 main players were the Rangers, the Islanders, and Florida. And at this point, it looks like the Rangers are basically out. So maybe it's just a 2-team race at this point, whether he's going to go and play with Bobrovsky in Long Island, or is he going to go and play in Florida? So at this point, just based off of what I'm seeing,